Thanks, Dan, and thanks, Shandie, for joining us again for more Wealth Wednesday.
Absolutely, happy to be here.
So it is RSP season, and people are probably rushing to get their contributions in. Now, there's probably some mistakes that people make at that time, but before we get to the mistakes, just remind us again, why are RSP contributions so beneficial to people?
Yeah, absolutely. And just as a reminder, March 1st is the deadline this year, but RSPs can be a wonderful way to save for retirement. How it works is we are going to make an RSP contribution. You're going to receive an RSP receipt that you can use as a tax deduction, and then that RSP money is going to grow tax deferred inside your RSP, at which point eventually you will retire and start to take that money out, and that is when it's taxable. So a great way to save for retirement and grow your investments.
Okay, so to the mistakes now. Tell us about those. What are some of the common mistakes that people need to watch out for?
Yeah, so I've got 3 very common mistakes and misconceptions about RSPs, and the first one is we focus a lot on the deadline, and we forget that we can contribute at any point throughout the year. And so, of course, the first 60 days of every new calendar year, we can contribute to an RSP, and the goal of that would be that we can actually apply that contribution to last year's taxes. So if you're scrambling to get that contribution in by March 1st, it's because you want that contribution to be applied to your 2022 tax year. Otherwise, if that's not a big concern for you, you can actually make that contribution at any point. Common misconception number 2 is that you need to know what you want to invest in when you make that contribution. And that, of course, is also not the case. You can actually let it sit in cash and just actually put that cash in your RSP vehicle, get the tax receipt, and use it. Not something I recommend. Of course, we want to make sure that that money is growing for you. That's the idea behind the RSP. But you can always make an appointment with your financial planner or advisor and determine that at a later date and find a solution that's good for you. The third common misconception is that everyone should have an RSP and that you should do it every single year, and that may not be the case. If, let's say, for example, you're not working this year or you have low income, you'd want to make sure that you actually defer and forego that contribution this year and have that contribution room actually carry forward so that you can utilize it in a year that your income is actually higher and so that you can really take advantage. The idea behind an RSP is that we want to be contributing when your tax bracket is higher, and we want to be taking out when your tax bracket is lower. So if that's not the case for you, then an RSP may not be the right savings vehicle for you. A financial planner would be able to kind of do a cash flow projection and determine what investment or savings vehicle would be best for you. So I definitely recommend utilizing them.
Great. Well, that's a lot for people to think about, and thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
All right.